Hi, nice to meet you.
Please introduce yourself and tell us about your music.
Well, me and my friend Hayes, we started doing music together like way back when I was 16, like 2005, 2004, something like that. We met each other back in high school, and we started taking it seriously probably right around 2007, 2008. That was when we got our first record deal, and we got signed as PovCiti, the Poverty Citizens, and that was out of Bend, Oregon. That was where we got our first like real big start out there, and some things didn't work out with the label. The label ended up shutting down. They went bankrupt, and eventually around like 2014, we decided to go into business for ourselves because we had worked with a whole bunch of production companies over the years, and nothing was really seeming to do anything for us. And so we really started hankering down and studying independent music a whole lot. And we started seeing what successful artists were doing and trying to model ourselves after their business plans and things like that, because we realized that if we weren't getting proper representation, we had to become proper representation, you know. And so that was really how we got to where we are now. And like now we're at the point where I love being able to say the line. It's my line I like to say to people is whatever phone you have, I'm already in your market. You know, like that might not mean a lot to everybody, but it means a lot for someone who has struggled as long as I have in the music industry. And to be able to say whatever I did it off of my own steam is a real pat on the back for myself.
Yeah, and I think it's that quality is a huge part of our local culture here in the county, being both Amador and Calaveras counties. I think a lot of people rely on that spirit within them to get through. I myself have produced my own albums because I didn't want to deal with a record label. So tell us more about this message that you want to get across, and specifically this sticker you just gave me, "Make music, not meth."
Yeah, that was actually something that popped up around like 2012, 2013. I got this idea. I was like, I remember too, I hit up Hayes that day I came up with it. I was like, man, you know what? I got this idea. I want to put "Make Music, Not Meth" on t-shirts. And he was like, man, people are going to think you're a crackhead. I was like, you know, so I mean, it was definitely a shot in the dark. We didn't know what was going to happen. And I started doing it, and I had such a positive reaction from the crowds that it like totally just stuck, and it became basically like our slogan. Because anybody who knows about Calaveras County, or I mean Amador too, even does have their issues with it as well. We're one of those rural communities that is harshly affected by methamphetamine and the crime that comes from it, the families that are destroyed by it. And coming from where we came from, like we were, I mean, it's sad to say, but when we were younger, that was kind of how we made our money, and that was kind of how we made our niche, was we were doing things like that we shouldn't be doing. Like, and as we got older, we realized, what do you want to be? Do you want to be the person who helps destroy your community by serving them up with stuff that's literally tearing them apart? Or do you want to serve them up with a positive message and try and make a change? And I personally, and Hayes as well, he and I have both just witnessed people eaten up by it. You know, personally, even in my own life, my own family, I've dealt with it. My brother has had addictions to methamphetamine and things like that. And so it's something that's very close to me, and I've dealt with my whole life. And I pray to God that if I could just change that for anybody, then I've done my job.
Thank you for what you're doing, and that intention is certainly admirable. So, you know, tell us why it's important to be an artist, especially a rap artist, in this rural community.
That's a good question, actually, because like coming up here for me, it was a whole different world, you know, because like this is one of those postcard towns. Like, I mean, a lot of these communities out here are, you know, and I grew up on the other side of the tracks from that. I mean, I saw a whole different side to this community growing up, and there was nothing on a postcard, you know. There's actually a book that was written about this place. I recommend it. It's called Shadow People, and was written about these counties out here, and it's crazy. Like, I literally know personally some of the people in this book that they're talking about from the crimes and stuff that was affected out here. And, you know, so I saw a whole different aspect than other people did. A lot of people thought that, you know, you couldn't really say that there was any sort of validity to the hardcore side of your story. Nobody really believed that when you came from a place like Calaveras County. You know, I mean, San Andreas is a town of 2,500 people, and so that's my hometown, and a lot of people don't think that kind of crime can come from a place like that. But if you've lived it, you know exactly that that's a very real thing. And so I pushed and pushed, and for a long time though, when I was younger, I was like in the closet about being a rapper. You know, I didn't want to necessarily tell everybody that I was a rapper. I mean, a lot of my friends knew and stuff. It started out at parties and everything, but like, it was tough for me to try and come out and actually claim that out here. But eventually, I got more validity from crowds. Started getting up in front of the crowds and like battle rapping, and did a couple of concerts. And then once I realized that the crowds loved what I did, that I didn't have to worry about whether or not I was talented. I didn't have to worry about whether or not I should be doing it, because the crowd was letting me know that this is something I should be doing. So I mean, it's really one of those things where, I mean, to get to the heart of the question, it's like, if you truly want this, if you truly are an artist, if that's what you're about, you can't let anything stop you. You can't let your past, your history, where you came from, you can't let that hold you back, because you can change. A lot of dumb things in my life. It's just that, like, you can change no matter where you come from. And on top of that, like, if the art is something that you truly believe in, then you owe it to yourself. It's like one of those "to thine own self be true" type things. No matter what, you've got to push to make that shit happen. Oh, excuse me, stuff happen.
Thank you so much for being honest and sincere with us, and sharing your story and what's behind it. So, do you think art is an essential part of education for the future of both of our counties?
I absolutely believe so. I believe that if I didn't have the art influence that I got growing up here, that I don't know if I would have necessarily got the right push that I had.
Are there teachers that stand out in your mind?
You know what? I really wish I could remember his name. It was 2006. I was going to Bret Hart at the time, Bret Hart High School in the Angels camp. And there was a music teacher over there. I didn't even take his class. He caught us freestyling out one day. We had this little cipher going with kids, and like he caught us freestyling. And at first I thought he was gonna bust us because we were saying like cuss words and stuff. And he didn't. He was hella cool, and he just had us come inside his music room, and he like laid down a beat on the drums and stuff. And so, like, that kind of positive influence, I mean, that really does change the mind frame of a kid. And aside from that too, like drama was a huge thing for me. I loved doing that. It was the thing that I never feared stage. You know, when I started doing music and then I got out there and started doing that, I was so confident from all those times I had been in front of a crowd. You know, so I mean, so anybody who pursues music, I would also encourage you to pursue drama, at least to a certain extent, so you could definitely get some stage time, become comfortable with having people see you like that. And those are the kind of programs that we need. And unfortunately, I see so much funding being pulled from our arts in our counties, and the worst part is like we're seeing money spent in all the weirdest places. Like, you know, we were one of the brokest counties. Calaveras was. It was one of the brokest counties in the state a couple years back. And then the same year, we made super jail and a brand new courthouse. And I was like, really? Like, where's we're all of our stuff is going downhill, but we can afford to put you in jail. You know, I just was like, that's not exactly the most positive message to send to your community, you know?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Epic, and thank you for what you are doing to shed light on the methamphetamine crisis in our communities through your art. I really admire it. Thank you.
Let you know also at the August of this year, I have my new album coming out. My new album, American Duplicity. We don't have an exact date, so I can't give you that yet, but I know it's coming out in August. And we'll be featuring some pretty cool people on there, some pretty cool names. Mr. Fab from the Bay Area is going to be featured on it, and a couple other really cool people. Also available on iTunes and Google and all the major stores and all that. You can also find my last album, Workaholic. It's got a few of the songs that you can hear right here from you guys that I gave to you. And also you can find our PovCiti vs. Everybody album, which has Afro Man. Yeah, Afro Man was featured on that as well. Also, I have with me today is my booking agent, Jeff Henry. He handles anybody who wants to try and get us out for a performance, or for we also don't mind doing speaking events and stuff like that. So if you would like to book us,
J Henry 047.
J Henry 0417 at gmail.com, and you can go ahead and book us for anything you want. And yeah, so like I said, thank you for having me. We have a concert coming up here on March 3rd. My company just started last year. We brought Afro Man out last September to San Andreas, and now here on March 3rd we're going to bring Twisted Insane out. Yeah, he's Brain Sick Entertainment. He's one of the worldwide choppers. He was done a lot of work with Tech Nine and stuff. He's one of the fastest rappers on the planet, and he's really amazing to see live in concert. So I'm giving some tickets away with you guys too. So I really hope to see everybody out there at the show. It's a really moderate thing too. It's only $15 a ticket, and it's an all ages event. So yeah.
Saturday, March 3rd at the McCallum Hill Town Hall, and doors open at 7 p.m.
Yep.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.